this computer. Got it. Okay, great. I'm going to start again so that we can have this recorded. Okay, so we're going to start again since I'm now going to record it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our presentation today on kind of remodeling in the evolving family. And my name is Peter Feinmann. I own Feinmann Inc. We are a 33-year-old company based in Lexington, Mass. We're about a team of 25 people. We have a great staff of architects and designers, as well as project managers, office staff, as well as our field staff, who really are an important part of making sure the work we do is beautifully executed. And so today we're going to talk about the evolving family, and we're going to start with the evolving kitchen, but hold on, I just want to make sure. Great. Okay, so we're going to talk about 4 spaces today. We're going to talk about kitchen. We're going to talk about how we're connecting spaces in people's homes. We're going to talk about how lives have changed in our bathrooms today and what are we seeing with people doing in their bathrooms. And then we're going to talk about sunrooms and kind of outdoor spaces, particularly in COVID, as people spend more time at home. The indoor-outdoor connection, indoor-outdoor spaces are really very, very important in people's lives today. And just to remind people, again, if you have questions, the chat is open. I will try to answer them when I'm not talking. And just to kind of start today, we're going to really start with kitchens and how kitchens have really changed in the many years that we've been working in kitchens. We're going to really kind of ask ourselves the question, how have kitchens changed over the years? And some of the things that we've really seen is how kitchens really are included, how really where the families are gathering, is where entertaining is occurring, obviously cooking and eating, and how people are kind of getting their work done, whether it's office, computer, televisions. So we're going to go through a number of different projects that we have done here at Feinmann, and we're going to show you how we've kind of solved a variety of people's problems. The kitchen has become the epicenter and the heart of the home. I remember many years ago, a client actually saying the kitchen is the heart of her home. That was probably 1990 something. And I really never forgot that particular piece of information. It's where people gather, and it's where people spend a lot of time. So I'm going to go through this first project, which I think was really a great story. It was a house in Belmont that we renovated in 2019. Classic problems. The storage was inefficient. If you kind of look over here, there was a peninsula disconnecting the kitchen from this family space, which was important to the home. And this house was built in the mid-90s, and the clients really just found, the cabinetry not to their liking. The solution here really, and I remember actually when I first met them, they weren't sure they wanted to give up this peninsula. And there was a little closet here that was kind of a poor use of storage. Our solution was to kind of open up the pathway from the kitchen into this kind of family space, create a great large island that had seating for 3, even though there's a picture here of only shows 2. To really kind of add a lot of good artificial lighting, particularly for kind of the season we're entering, fall, winter, when we need artificial lighting, as well as a lot of out-of-sight storage, which I will show you in some of the upcoming photos. Again, to show you this view, this connection from this family room, we added this gas fireplace. The television was already here, but there's really just a nice connection here. You can see the microwave drawer, which we do a lot of with a lot of our clients. And you can get a sense that this house already had some great natural light. So let me turn that off. Great. Okay. So, and then just to keep going, here was a before picture as well. You can see the kind of the messy kind of storage. It was actually a fairly small refrigerator for a house like this. There was this arch over here, which was very old in terms of its architectural element. And as I said to you earlier, they wanted to kind of change their cabinetry. And when you look at this view, there's a hidden 48-inch refrigerator back behind the panels here. All the storage is behind this closed storage, lots of drawers. The tap-free faucet, which is getting more popular, particularly in these times of COVID. And you can also see the double oven, which we see in a lot of homes today. And I think it's just important to note that as you kind of look at, this kitchen here, it's a great way for the family to kind of be together, particularly, when we're at home quite a bit here in our COVID times. And also kind of becomes a place where people can kind of retreat and kind of be able to come down from their offices, whether it's school or work offices, and to be able to gather with people. So let's just, great. So that's that project here. And there's another great feature here, which actually the architect that's on this phone call with us, Michael Hanna, really came up with, was this client really wanted a lot of storage, and we created this these rollback doors to hide this cabinetry and put this storage behind this top. We actually did a tiled cabinet door that we put on a particularly complicated piece of hardware so we could get access to appliances and shelves here. And you also can see up in here the hidden hood ventilation. Some people, the olden days of I want to see my hood, it's a prominent feature in the house. It's also being changed into I don't want to see the hood, but I definitely want to be able to get the ventilation. That's important to us. And with these upper cabinets, these cabinets lift up so that we can kind of get access to them. So these are some of the features, particularly the hidden hood ventilation. The technologies have gotten so much better over the last couple of years that we're doing more and more of these hidden hoods. They're here, they're effective, they allow the variety of different cooks, whether they're doing a lot of heavy cooking or light cooking. It really does allow for the ventilation, which is really important in people's homes today. So there are some nice features in this kitchen, and they're great to kind of include in any of the projects that people are considering doing, or for some of the professionals here in this call as well. I'm going to get to a next project here. And this was, this was a couple up in Andover, actually, in which they had, they loved the location. They were looking at a variety of homes and ultimately decided they had this kind of sunroom here, kind of a den entry, and the kitchen was over here. The spaces were disconnected, which is a classic problem that many people feel in homes that are, kind of colonials and ranches and things like that. And it was hard to kind of grab the light. So in this particular case, we really did a very kind of modern cabinet, which we've seen quite a bit over the last couple of years, the request for this kind of modern idiom. I remember doing this for a client in 2005, and no one was really talking about it. And now we're seeing this quite a bit. You've got two sinks here because both of these homeowners like to cook at the same time. You've got this extra, variety of different seating areas. We're also, again, moving towards slim lighting. You have great lighting, but also making the lighting less prevalent. It kind of fits with the theme of, clients wanting to kind of have more kind of simple elements in their kitchen. So just to keep going in this particular project, this was the before picture of the kitchen. Again, it was cramped. It was an old 1990s cabinet. There was very little counter space here. And as you kind of keep going back to the next picture, you can again see the use of the counter spaces, large counter spaces, large places to gather. Again, this couple had all their children out of the home, though back, in the spring, one of their children moved back home because of COVID. And some of the other features that we're also seeing, this is the second time you can see that, is that gas fireplace in these spaces here. You can see the gas fireplace here behind the island, some kind of simple display shelving to both sides of the fireplace. But again, these gas fireplaces are becoming very popular. People want to be able to click on their fireplaces. If you ask them to get wood, they tend to not turn them on. And we're seeing a lot more of these being added into people's homes, and particularly in these homes like the kitchens where there's so much gathering going on. So suddenly everybody spends a lot of time in the kitchen if they're not working or in school. So that's there. But the key feature of this project actually is what I would call, we added a little to gain a lot. I have a bias that we build homes that sometimes are much bigger than we actually need, or we build additions that are much bigger than we actually need. And in this particular case, I think we built about a 6-foot addition in the front of this house. And you can see it on the left picture is the before, on the right is the after. Very simple 6-foot addition. What that allowed us to do was to get the mudroom out in the new space and allowing the kind of full integration of the existing spaces of the house. But by adding this little mudroom, it really allowed for this entire kitchen project to really fulfill the vision that we had hoped to give to the client. So I'm a big advocate of just a little bit. Adding a little is a great way to gain a lot of results. We don't have to make big additions to sometimes solve these problems, just a little bit. And again, one of the other features that I've seen over the years is people build big additions and then they leave the old house looking the way it once was. And I think the problem with that is, you get this beautiful new house and then you got the old house, it doesn't work. And it's really important to us when we're designing projects that we are making sure that the existing house is well integrated to what we're doing. Don't just build new space and think the old space is going to be solved. We've done a number of projects recently where we solved the old space that was left over from projects that were built in the 90s. We just finished one like that, and we really had to solve the problem before we renovated the house. So again, add a little, gains a lot. Just to remind people, who people came in late, I'm Peter Feinmann. I own and run Feinmann Inc. based here in Lexington, Mass. And if you have any questions, I have the chat box open and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. If you were here in front of me, I'd expect you to interrupt me now and ask me questions, but the Zoom feature here during COVID is changing that a little bit. Let's keep going to, so the other feature is what we're also seeing is just kind of the way the floor plan is evolving and how we're really kind of creating connections between rooms, creating opening sight lines, how we're opening up these sight lines, and then some of the specialty features that we're putting in people's homes. And to kind of start with this project here, this was in Newton. It was a kind of a townhouse in which this kitchen was done in the 1980s. It's dark, it's cramped, it's got limited seating. It's not a place that you want to sit in. And what we did is we took down the wall where the stove was and opened things up, and you'll see that in the next picture. And what you really have here is this kind of connection between the dining room and the kitchen, open sight line to the outside. That's in the back of the picture. And one of the features that we like to do a lot lately, and this happens a lot in our designs, which is the breakfast bar. It's a different material. It's slightly raised, maybe 1/4, 3/8 of an inch. That's here right in the foreground with the 2 chairs. So it really defines, and this is a couple, no children in this particular house at this point other than grandchildren. So it really defined the counter, the eating area, where the rest of the counter is really for preparation and for putting things out. And if you go to the next picture, I think it's important to see here that we separated the spaces here by also choosing different finishes. So this is the dining room, and you can see the cabinet selections are a kind of a wood colored versus the painted, and some of the modern elements that we had here. The lighting is different. The floor continues, the ceilings continue, but we've really separated these spaces via the selections that we chose. I think it's important to open spaces. I think it's also important to make sure that the spaces have definition. We just started designing a project that we visited yesterday in which you can't really tell the front entry from the dining room and from the living area. And my guess is our designs are going to ultimately solve that for this couple. And just to keep going, again, one of the trends that we're seeing a lot is kind of built-in bars. We're seeing that a lot, area for liquor to go, for sometimes there's a sink there. Sometimes there's a wine fridge. I'll show you a picture shortly of where there's a wine fridge. Again, defining it by It's different cabinet finishes, similar but different than what you might see on the other side of the dining room. Just a flip back here, you can see how there's some of that color there to the right of this lighter colored wood. So we're playing with just different wood finishes to kind of define spaces. Kind of very important to do when we're opening spaces. Otherwise, spaces start getting a little bit kind of lost. And the kind of the key element of this project was this living room here. This living room was actually 3 steps up, and the client did not want steps on this floor. They're kind of in the aging population range. So we lowered the floor, again, added the gas fireplace, and here's the TV. You see these things kind of being repeated again and again. And the key part here was the kind of the sight line, being able to sit in the living room and have a connection for entertaining back to the dining room. Again, this particular family has local children with grandchildren, so there's a lot of family gatherings, or there was actually before COVID. My guess is they probably are apart at this point, and the families are probably gathering together. So again, making this connection, there was no connection before. There was probably a doorway, if I remember correctly. So connecting these sight lines are important. Whoops, cut that back. Right. So we're going to keep going. So again, and then I think there's the next project is really, again, connecting spaces. Tried to show you in the first group of photos how we were solving problems in kitchens. And now I'm showing you really how we're connecting spaces. This, again, was a house that was renovated in the 90s. There was a fireplace here in the middle of nowhere. It was really funny. There were 3 seating areas right here in the background, 3 chairs. Then there was a table here and another table there. This was just a family of 4, 2 young girls with their mom and dad. So there was a lot of, and you can see right here in the foreground, the piano. But the space really was illogical. And the client said, how do we make this more logical? And again, as many people who are in the business or people considering remodeling, one of the things that clients come to us with is their solutions, and they start telling us what they think they should do. And if we're good at this business, then we tend to listen to that and then probe and ask them more questions that might challenge their thinking, because if you want to work with professionals tend to have more experience and are able to challenge. So I think in this particular case, the question is, would you want a fireplace in another location? Now, there was no conversation about wanting to renovate their family room, which I'll show you shortly. But I knew when we were asking them about the fireplace that, and there was actually no easy way outside of this house. So you had to go down way in the back of this picture. There was some stairs down into a basement, which took you to the outside. So I'll walk you through how we solved this. In this particular case, we moved the fireplace. I'll show you where. We kind of defined the dining room with see the raised ceiling over the dining room table here, and then kind of started creating this kind of kitchen that was a much more defined area. And I'll walk you through a little closer on that. Again, much better workflow. Again, defining the island here with a different counter surface. Great storage on the left side with some counter surfaces here, as well as display cabinets. And it really was a much more, and the family will sit here and eat, casually. They'll do that. And the answer here was this family room. We moved again, here we go again, the gas fireplace with the TV above with nice storage on both sides. And so we actually ended up remodeling the family room and created a new deck so they could get outside, which was not, again, they didn't ask me for the renovations of the family room. They didn't ask us for a connection to the outdoors. And I think, so, since I know we have people here that are both on the consumer side and then the professional side, if you ask the right questions, people will always consider spending more if they see that there really is going to be kind of a value proposition to spend more. No one wants to spend more just for the sole purpose of spending more, but they will spend more if they're shown the value proposition. In this particular case, moving the family room, putting the TV and the fireplace into the family room, connecting to the outdoors, really solved a variety of problems that the client didn't even tell me that they saw as a problem. again, connecting spaces. And now we're going to move to last piece here. Again, here we go. Wine fridge, built-in bar area, kind of nice cabinet lighting here to highlight the pretty glasses that this client wanted to highlight. These are just kind of comfortable spaces to be in. And we're going to shift to bathrooms, which have changed dramatically over the decades. Luxury is the word that we're seeing in bathrooms. We're seeing technology in bathrooms, and we're seeing people put, the bathroom is no longer the space that we just kind of treat as this functionality. It's becoming a space that we're going to kind of breathe, take a deep breath, have a moment of separation from the world, and just to give us a point to kind of recalibrate as we enter into our busy and what sometimes feels like our crazy world. And this particular job was was just a small little bathroom. We actually combined 2 bathrooms here. It was a couple in Chelsea in a townhouse, and they were willing to give up a bathroom to get the results of a bathroom here that had, a great sink area with a separate soaking tub and a separate shower. You can see some very high-end finishes here. And just to kind of get in a little closer, we have there's a lot of these vanity cabinets here have hidden plugs. People want to be able to plug in their personal items, but they don't necessarily want the things on the counter. So you've got that going on there. We're seeing a lot of electric warm floors. People say, I want radiant floors. Mostly they want warm floors. There's nothing nicer than New England and stepping in a bathroom on a winter day and feeling your feet warm. Again, it's part of that experience of just starting your day and going, I'm warm floors, luxury space. And in this particular project, the client did this kind of very beautiful tub, waterfall feature through this kind of marble granite coming down from the ceiling. They did a 7-foot soaking infinity tub, so the water overflows into the second tub. It's got chromotherapy, it's got lights, it got bubbles. Sounds like a good place to go on March 14th when the world felt like it was getting pretty crazy for all of us. And I'm pretty sure that was being used quite a bit this spring by this couple. And then if they weren't in the tub, well, then they can go to their shower. We're seeing a lot of these waterfall showers. The importance of the storage, getting niches there. And in this particular case, you don't see it, but this client wanted a steam shower. We're seeing a lot of people wanting to add steam into their bathrooms so that they can, again, get the comfort. So the bathroom's becoming the luxury gym. And especially again in COVID, people buy their Pelotons, they have their shower, and they can do all their exercise, and they're kind of taking care of themselves. In a lot of luxury. And just to mention back here to these sinks here, these sinks came from Italy. They were hand cast sinks. They were complicated to get, but one came and cracked, and they told us to break it and take a picture before they sent a new one. That's what they do in Italy. And to kind of keep going into bathrooms, this was, we did 2 bathrooms in this home, his and her. I'll show you her bathroom. It was, again, a very traditional home in Weston, which they wanted to kind of upgrade the finishes. And, again, kind of a painted cabinet, warm, soothing finishes, kind of a large mirror to try to kind of highlight the size. We put in a new skylight because that was really the only kind of window element in this bathroom. You can see that we're a little bit in the kind of the clipped ceiling here. It's a second floor, but kind of clipped ceiling in this particular case. And if you keep going here, you'll see kind of very popular these days. Years ago, it was frameless shower doors. Now it's threshold-free showers. The idea of stepping over a shower, people saying, I don't want to do that. I personally have a threshold-free shower. I love my threshold-free shower. So I see why we're doing it. Again, we're doing kind of creative niches here, little niche down here for a woman to put her leg, to shave her legs. Other niches here for kind of soaps and body scrubbers and the like. Could be razors and the like. And again, building some storage to the right side of the shower. Some of it's display. You can see there's some personal items here, some pictures here of the family, and then towels and toiletries and the like would go into the cabinet here. So these are, and again, we've got um, the rain head, the shower head coming from above. The idea of water just falling over people's heads seems to create a feeling of luxury and kind of really relaxation. And I think we're all looking for those moments of how we can be more relaxed. And I think this is our last bathroom in this particular run. We have, it was a fairly traditional bathroom, but you can see a door here to this bedroom. And this design got solved by closing off that door. The lighting was poor, the vanity was too small. There was no storage in this bathroom here. And what we ended up doing was kind of a design element that we do a lot of these days, kind of floating vanities. Kind of, it makes the bathroom feel bigger, easier to clean. You don't get a collection of dust and the like underneath there. The lighting here is bright. You see these tile accents above the sink. We do a lot of that these days, where the tile around the sink is really being an accent on the bathroom. This one also has the skirted toilets. And there's just a warm, soothing space for this home. And if we switch to the other side of the bathroom, well, again, we're doing glass on both sides of the shower, so that you have these kind of open sight lines. We do a lot more reflective tiles. As you can see this, you can see the images being reflected in the tile. And once again, you got the niches there for the showers, the soaps and the bottles and the like. And for those people who like them, the handheld shower heads as well, handheld shower, as well as the shower head here. Here, they did not do the waterfall shower. And so, again, a comfortable place to go to. This is the family bathroom, and they just called us last week and now want to build the addition for the new master bathroom. So they were obviously happy.
Peter, we have a question. What tub is that? So if you want to email us at marketing@feinmann.com, we can get back to you with what tub that actually is.
Yeah, that's easy. We have that. You probably can grab that pretty quickly, Laura. Thank you. Thank you for the question. So sometimes I move the chat bar away from the picture, Lauren. So thank you for catching the chat. Appreciate it. So we're done with bathrooms. So we've done kitchens and bathrooms. One more bathroom. Take it back. Sorry. This bathroom had, again, poor lighting, carpeting, which is a very old kind of finishing bathrooms. Everything was very outdated. Again, 1980s. And I really like this bathroom because, again, it has some fun features. We said we do a lot of creative tile features. In the olden days, 20 years ago, we used to put all the tile features in the shower. Now we're actually moving it to around the vanity area here. Again, threshold-free showers, the built-in vanities, and the built-in medicine cabinets with all the lighting alongside it, as well as plugs inside. You can see in this left mirror the towel storage in the niche. That's where the toilet's actually located. Again, you see, and then you can see again the niches in the shower. So, again and again, we're seeing threshold-free showers. This also had a steam shower, again, which is why all these glass is going to the ceiling. The steam is stuck in a little box behind this wall on the right. Plugging things in our medicine cabinets, tile details around our vanities, niches for towels. It'll be fun to see what happens in the next 5-10 years. What do we keep creating to create more luxury and make people really comfortable in their bathrooms? Bathrooms have become, a very special place. So those are kind of our tubs and showers. And again, we're going to move into another space And if people have any questions, kind of send them our way. And I know my marketing person, Lauren, has just given you our email address at marketingfeinmann.com if you want to get something specific. When we post these things in our website, as well as kind of put a lot of these projects into some national and local awards, we are always having to collect where the product was. So we generally tend to have this product, readily available to us to share with you if you've got something that you want to know specifically about. And let's go to the last group of spaces. The evolving sunroom and porch. Boy, has that changed. I've been lucky. I bought an 1895 house about 20 years ago that has a gazebo and a screened-in room, and I would say I spent 6 months a year out in that room. It just came with the house, and it was probably the original to the house. And again, my house is about 130 years old, but people want to do that. So people really want to bring the outdoors in, particularly, as we get into our shoulder seasons and our winter seasons, and it helps expand the footprint in a way that kind of, I go outdoors, but I stay indoors. And we built this sunroom last year. I'll show you more about it. So this was added to the house. This is the sunroom here in the foreground. There were a series of additions built back in the last 5-10 years in this house. We didn't build those additions, but he came back for the second round with us. I did meet with him back when he was going to build those additions, and it's not a good match at the time. And now he wants us to do all this other work. And here we had this really great kind of sunroom addition, which created a great connection. And I'll show you the inside. Now, I'll tell you why this inside was special. We finished this project and then we did their kitchen. So all kind of, I think we started this in March. All spring, they lived in this space while we remodeled their kitchen, which I'm not showing you in this project. But we did this project and they lived in here. It's got kind of in the ceiling, most people are very familiar with the mini splits now, which line the wall, but mini split also can make a ceiling mounted unit, which we're doing more and more because people don't love the way those mini splits look. And this is a great way of getting the heating and the cooling through a kind of a ceiling grill system. And we've done that 2 or 3 times in the last year where clients say, I want that separate heating and cooling, but I sure don't want that box on the wall, which some people don't like. We've got a lot of features in this job. Look at this door on the left side of the picture. It's kind of a fold back door, which really was a kind of a great feature. He wanted to be able to leave those doors open during the summer. And then kind of a lift up window. So you've got sliding doors, folding doors, lift up windows. I'm not sure there are any other features that we could add here. In terms of kind of new technologies that we're seeing in kind of windows and doors. And the idea of rolling back the door and having 2 doors opened and closed that you can go through during the summer months was really kind of a nice feature for this house. He wanted people to be able to kind of walk from their garage where they park across the room through these doors unimpeded, because there's a pool back here. You probably can see it to the left of this door here, a little bit of blue back there. So these are some of the features that we added in this space. And to show you one more picture here. This person wanted a little bit of kitchen. Here we go. We can shut the water off from the inside come wintertime, but this can be used quite a bit for outdoor cooking. And last picture, lots of skylights, creates lots of heat. And that's why we have all these doors and windows to be able to open this up on a hot summer day or close the doors and turn the air conditioning on, depending on what your, what your kind of delight is. And again, the design elements here of doing a flat ceiling and a vaulted ceiling really helps kind of define space. These skylights do have retractable shades, and again, we have the HVAC for all your living. So we know that it's going to get hot. We put these retractable shades down. We can open up the doors. We can close the doors and turn on the AC. There's a lot of features. You can pull back the shades on a winter day and get become 55 degrees in there before you know it, especially if it's a sunny winter day. So there's a lot of ways to kind of use the space. It's quite luxurious, and it's a space. And then there's the hot tub. Now this project was designed around the hot tub. He had built the other addition 8 or 10 years ago, and he said the hot tub, whenever he ran it, it vibrated the master bedroom upstairs. So he really wanted to get this out of the existing house and put it out here on this concrete pad, which is what we've got out here. So he's much happier now that he can use his hot tub all year round. It doesn't vibrate the house, and there's a great space here. This is also kind of a fun project, kind of a classic, kind of a colonial here in Newton. It was unused, you know, you can see this here, kind of back door goes out to a small landing, landing out to a small landing for a grill, you know, just not being well used, not connecting. In this particular case, we built the fireplace and built this beautiful porch where there could be a lot of outdoor eating. Stretch the season, particularly now with COVID, sit outside with your friends, you know, socially distance, but sit in front of the heat of the fireplace. And I think this is going to be well used this fall, and probably even as we get into early winter. And other feature of this project is we raised the grade so that we didn't have large, you know, there would have been like 12 steps, 10 steps, you know, coming down from the landing up here down to the ground here. And so you've got this kind of landscape feature, which allowed you to kind of tear your way up to the porch. And you know, the fireplace is there, but not prominent. It's really kind of a very luxurious space outdoors. And as you can see, I lost my chat. Okay, new chat, great. You know, as you can see in these projects is the importance of continually creating solutions that kind of create comfort and luxury. You know, our world has changed. People feel somewhat that it's a busy, crazy place. Our lives are busy. Even before COVID, our lives were super busy. And people are looking for ways to kind of create retreats in our home. And now our homes are, you know, have some of our adult children, and they have our husbands working at home and our wives working at home. And I was at a house yesterday, they got a 9-year-old and 11-year-old. They're doing virtual, so they were in and out of the house. The husband was one office. The wife was in another office, and that seems to be the way we're going to work until next summer. So suddenly, the way we're using our homes has really changed because of the pandemic. And what we don't know is whether or not even post-pandemic, will we be working from a home more often than this? Will more of our education be kind of virtual? And so suddenly, you know, the offices that we came to and the schools that we went to start being moved to our homes, and that starts putting pressure on everybody to make their homes be a more comfortable space, and make it something that is luxurious. And you know, I think it's always very important to make sure that when you create spaces in your homes, I'll give an example. I built a small addition on a second home that I have. I happened to have built it this past winter and spring, and I felt so lucky when I went there this summer and would sit in this space and turn the lights on in the summer evening. It was full of kind of open screens and just go, what a great place to sit. And it just creates such kind of relaxation when we can find spaces in our homes that give us a place to call retreat for ourselves. Someone asked the question here, did we work with a landscape designer for the porch project? In this case, no, we actually worked with one of our masons who really designed the wall system, but it could have easily had a landscape designer. It looks like it had that, but in this case, the client had a pretty strong sense. And again, I'm not sure who's client and who is professionals in this group here. You know, some clients have great ability to kind of see space and be partners in design. And some clients really need a lot of guidance and support in design. Know yourself, know what you're good at and what you're not good at, and then make sure you bring the right team of professionals. So I think the question coming from someone here, they're right. This could have been a job that needed a landscape designer. Um, we've worked with a landscape designer on a number of projects. We just finished a project here in Lexington in which, the landscape designer really solved the exterior problem. We actually knew what the design was for the inside, and we knew that there was a potential to change it. And then the landscape architect really changed the outside. So the connection that we created, we don't have any pictures of this project just yet, it was just finished just a couple months ago, really was kind of an important part as we open up and put more glass in our homes to connect ourselves to outdoors, or in these cases, create these outdoor spaces. What our outdoors becomes equally as important, whether it's our patio or our lawns or our outdoor fireplaces. So I think do people have other questions? That's generally the kind of, I think there's a few more pictures here, one more, I think. Oh, questions. So that is generally the presentation, and I'm happy to kind of go back and answer any questions that people might have about how we are evolving in our homes today, and how, whether you're a client or we are the professionals, can kind of help enhance this with people. Let's see. I don't see any questions yet.
We got part of a question. I think BC was going to ask one.
I see part of a question, but it didn't get completed here. So
Peter, would you mind sharing with us? I know that Feinmann is a design build firm. And so, and that's a term we hear out there in the world, but we're not always sure what it means. Can you talk a little bit to, the difference between design builds versus a builder, and how does that work? How do you work with clients?
Yeah, I really think there are three main models out there. One is what I would call architect build. You hire an independent architect, landscape designer, interior designer to design your space. And then after you design your space, hopefully that architect designer has a team of people that they work with, or you go out to references from friends. I think the second option is kind of what I would call design build, or sometimes better said architect build, which is really what we are at Feinmann, in which the whole design team is really integrated as part of one collaborative effort to really organize how we are delivering the total design and the decisions about selections and finishes and tile and lighting and landscaping off of one kind of operation. Needless to say, we think that's a great model. We've been doing that model for 25 of the 33 years that we've been in business, and think the collaboration really allows our projects to be much more organized in a way in which people's preferences, individual egos get put aside to make sure that the clients are being well served. I think the third model is what I would call builder, or sometimes what I would call build design. There are a lot of design builders that are really build designers, meaning they're good builders. Hopefully they're good builders. And they have some good design ideas, but they're not going to really kind of stretch you on the design. And I think that's absolutely appropriate in a variety of projects. So you've got to know whether or not your project requires more design and more kind of challenging ideas, or is it really just building a 12 by 12 deck at the back of your house? And then work with your builder. It'll help the selections of the finishes you might want and the product you want, but there's not a lot of design. So when we go out and meet with potential clients, we're always trying to figure out whether they're looking for the true design approach, or are they also looking for something that's more builder oriented, meaning it requires less design. And the worst thing to do is have someone say they built a project. I had one a couple of years ago in which the client asked us, they said they had done their master bathroom with what I would call build designer. It was pretty uninteresting. And then we designed a kitchen, family room space that was much more kind of exciting. And I can tell that that client felt that they hired the wrong firm for the first project. They were willing to spend more to get more. and they spent less and got less, and they would have spent more if someone was able and capable of doing that. The company they work with is a very competent, excellent company. I know them, but they're not strong on the design end. They're adequate on the design end, but not super strong. So I think those are very kind of important distinctions. And I think you've got to ask yourself, what do you need and what do you want? And do you want to work separately with an architect? Do you want to work with a kind of a collaborative team like Feinmann? Or do you really want to work with a good builder who has some good design ideas and that you can trust and roll up your sleeves and work with them? There were a few more questions. I mean, I bumped into someone recently at an outdoor dinner place, and they said they're working with a builder to build a house on the Cape. And she described the relationship, and sounds like the builder is going to do a decent enough job for this woman in her house, you know. And you know, and that was just sitting over a table at an outdoor place on the Cape. I've got a couple of questions here. One is, are you installing whole home air filtration system? If that's related to COVID, what we're starting to do there is put the, oh, I forget, we did one in our office. I forget what it is, but we actually have been adding some filtration elements onto our AC systems to help people kind of remove virus particles and the like. And someone asked me here, are there situations where you won't use a thresholdless shower? I would say sometimes we can't do them. We just can't get either enough height on the flooring, or we can't get enough depth on the flooring, meaning sometimes you have to build up to do these and sometimes you have to build down. And there's been a few situations we just were simply unable to do that. And that's, people want to do them if they can. That's been our experience. And someone also asked here, do you need special lighting fixture for steam shower to withstand the steamy condition? Well, you definitely need a shower door that will kind of keep the steam in. You also need a good system to remove that steam from your bathroom. And there are special lights, though maybe Michael might be able to answer that question. There are lights that we are putting in the showers so that they are standing up to the kind of more intense kind of water environment that we have. But those are good questions.
We
Thank
we
you.
use we use a waterproof recessed light in the ceiling in the shower, and it is totally waterproofed. It doesn't get impacted with the steam at all. And if you just give me a chance, Peter, for the question before that question about the curbless shower, I just want to add there is two aspects. First aspect is a design aspect, and there is a medical aspect. The first design aspect is if the bathroom is small, people wants to have curbless shower to that the bathroom feel more spacious. And medical aspect, some people they have problem in their knees if they are old, late 70s, and we got that cases before, and they say, oh, we have hard time like getting into the shower, and they don't have like other younger kids with them in the house, so it's easier to get into the shower and out of the shower without a curb.
Good. Thank you, Michael. Those are good answers. That's why I wanted you here.
Thank you.
We've got about another kind of 5 more minutes. Are there any other questions that people might have, or Lauren, a question that might stimulate conversation that you want me to discuss today?
Can you talk about the variety of selections when it comes to designing your kitchen or your bath and things like that? Because I know that, you know, you have these really high-end products, and then you have these mid-range products, and then you have some lower end products. What are you seeing as, you know, we're seeing like different textures in design. Maybe you can speak to the different types of design elements that you're seeing come into spaces right now.
Well, what I would start with and say that the amount of selections available is absolutely overwhelming to the consumer. And the good news for those of us who are professionals, that means we are needed more to help guide our clients through these decisions, because they are absolutely simply overwhelming. You know, we generally ask our clients to kind of go to Houzz or Pinterest and select things that they like, and it's amazing. And then also note why you like a picture. Sometimes you'll choose a picture and I think you like the fridge, but you're really picking out a cabinet door that you've liked. So it's important when you do that to kind of note why you like this, So I always am encouraging people to go to, when I've remodeled my own house, I've actually go to house, pull a bunch of pictures out, then say to my wife, what do you like in these pictures? And half the time she tells me to get rid of certain pictures. And the other half, she says, oh, I know my wife likes at this stage of my life. And then we'll start negotiating what we like. Then I can go to my design staff and say, these are some of the things we like. I think it's important to have great partnerships with some great bathroom suppliers. If you go to a good bathroom showroom and work with a good salesperson, they can really help guide you. That's true with tile. At our company, our design staff is helping our clients with tile, partnering with bathroom showrooms, also, working very closely, with our clients on whether it's knobs, it's lighting, it's colors. So there's a tremendous amount, and people have gotten so particular these days about what they like. It takes a lot of effort to organize themselves. So I also think it's important to make sure you have the right players and the right team of people to help guide you through this year. We work quite a bit with Designer Bath here in the Watertown branch, and have worked with a variety of other excellent people over the years. And these partners have been really, really, really helpful. Someone actually made a comment here, and I want to respond to it. Great to see a talk that doesn't involve the $10 million home. Yes, you are correct. The homes we're working on are not $10 million homes. And some of these homes are actually pretty, they're your home. They just happen to be owned by someone who's willing to make an investment to make part of the home, all of the home, really quite special. And I've done a lot of projects over the years in which we take what is just everybody's home and make a part of it really beautiful and special. And I think that's why I'm so proud of the work we've done over the years. It's not just a $10 million home. I don't think we've ever worked on a $10 million home. So I think there's a lot of work out there and a lot of people in everyday homes who really want to make their homes kind of beautiful, comfortable, make it a place that feels like it's a retreat for themselves, for their family, for their extended family. There's just a great opportunity to kind of make the spaces that we live in be special, give us a place to just take a deep breath and kind of be able to kind of face the world that always feels like it's coming at us in a way from coming at us with a lot of tension and energy. So it is 2 minutes before 4 o'clock. So I will just actually thank everybody for joining us today. I hope you got some good ideas about what we're seeing in everybody's home. Everybody's home, meaning most people's homes today, kind of the features in the kitchens and the bathrooms, and how people are connecting spaces, how people are connecting spaces to the outdoors. And hopefully, whether you're a consumer or a professional, we all get a chance to work with you on your home. And hopefully you got some good ideas today. And so it is 3:59. So I will actually say thank you. And I appreciate everybody joining us today. Again, I'm Peter Feinmann with Feinmann Inc. We're based in Lexington, Mass. And we have a great team of designers and project managers and carpenters who are absolutely dedicated to making sure that what we do for our clients has exceeded their expectations at the highest level. So thank you today. Appreciate you joining us.